In April, I went to the World Expo on my own due to an event which I was attending, but this time I went with my wife and 2 kids, one of them still being in a baby car. This caused a lot of issues, starting with the station platform of the expo itself only having one elevator. One elevator for the thousands of people visiting each day. Because of the lack of elevators, it took us around 30 minutes to just get out of the station and to the waiting line. And although we have to book our entrance time in advance, it took another 30 minutes of waiting to finally be inside of the park. Nothing moving.
11:16.
Reservation at 11. Good planning. With 1 hour already being completely lost by waiting for elevators and waiting to enter the park, it was already lunchtime and luckily we found some benches in the shade so we could eat our bread, which we bought earlier before leaving, because the food prices inside of the park are way too high, so we came prepared. And again about the whole elevator thing, yes there are elevators, but a lot of people who don't need elevators keep taking the elevators, causing waiting lines to go on the giant ring.
An entire waiting line for one food place. A waiting line to win a plushie. To have a chance of winning a plushie. And honestly, this is just a waiting line festival place.
As much as we wanted to enjoy the World Expo, seeing all the waiting lines was very demotivating. Walking around on top of the ring didn't help much either, because it was often way too busy to actually be able to walk, and the millions of mosquitoes were basically eating people alive.
I think even my camera can pick up all the mosquitoes. Do you see all the mosquitoes there? Yeah, they're all mosquitoes. These spots are way too tiny on the viewing points. Way too tiny.
One of the first pavilions we went into was the Singapore pavilion. The waiting line was only about 30 minutes, which is still kind of a long time, but shorter than most of the other places. The first area we entered was quite nice. But yeah, the part after that was way too busy, and you're supposed to draw your dream on one of the tablets, but there were not enough tablets and people were pushing and cutting the waiting lines, so we just gave up and went to the next part where the dreams of people appear in the sky projected on the dome. The World Expo is nice to walk around in without entering any of the pavilions. There's a lot of things to see all around the park. And the facilities for people with kids is also great. There's a park, there's toilet for kids, baby feeding rooms, and free to use baby cars, which we made use of for our older kids. That baby car was very helpful and made our trip a lot more comfortable. The reservation system for both selecting the time you want to enter the park and to reserve your spot to see some of the pavilions is a nightmare. Even if it shows that spaces are available, oftentimes it's not correct and it will just give you a message that there are no spaces left. If you want to get into some of the places which require a reservation, be prepared to be on your phone for a big part of the day, as everything is always fully booked and you'll need to hope that somebody else cancels. This footage is from inside the Blue Ocean Dome, one of the pavilions which require a reservation, also the only one with the reservation that we were able to get into. The most interesting part was this water area. Afterwards we were put in a hallway where we saw the same video multiple times. And then we sat in a room, kind of like a cinema, where we watched a video which looked like it was made with AI. The water part of that pavilion was probably the best part. For the World Expo to be about sustainability and less plastic consumption, they do have a lot of vending machines everywhere selling mainly plastic bottles.
It's the future. Vending machines. Oh wow, there's a waiting line for the water.
They do have machines with free water, but that water isn't really cold, also not hot. But yeah, during hot summer weather here in Japan, having cold water would be nice.
Nanai ba. 誰かな? Yeah, no, the waiting line is way too long. This is the most useless map that I've seen so far for blind people. There's nothing of the... It's just a big empty space.
For the entire day we went into the Singapore pavilion, the Blue Ocean Dome, the Malaysian pavilion and in one of the bigger Commons pavilions, which house multiple countries at once. Both of our kids fell asleep at some point, so we didn't really had a chance to go to the kids park. But yeah, overall we had somewhat of a good time, but it was way too busy and stressful to walk around at the World Expo. My wife gave the World Expo a score of 3 out of 10. For me personally, I would give it a 4 out of 10 if you can enter for free. But at the high price that the tickets are being sold at, yeah, it will make it a 2 out of 10 for me. Like, don't get me wrong, there are many people who do enjoy the expo, but for us, especially with kids, the waiting lines are just too much. The amount of people don't make it easy to move with the baby car. The overall infrastructure for people in wheelchairs and baby cars is kept at the bare minimum, making it very frustrating and tiring to get to certain places in the park. And the price is just too high. We were lucky to have free tickets because otherwise we would probably not have come to the World Expo this year. Please do take this with a grain of salt. I tend to easily stress in busy places and feel uncomfortable in those kind of environments, so your experience may vary and may possibly be a lot more positive. For people visiting Osaka, I'd much more recommend to visit Tennoji, Namba, Osaka Station, and to see things like Osaka Castle, the Cup Noodle Museum and the Housing Museum, which is one of my more favorite museums here. Thanks for watching and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.